Hello there, you're watching Bizworld. Malaysia's total trade has recorded a new achievement in 2021, surpassing 2 trillion ringgit and recorded the fastest growth since 1994. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Muhammad Uzir Mahidin said it recorded double-digit growth of 24.8% after negative results for 2 consecutive years. All states recorded an increase in total trade, dominated by Selangor with 112.6 billion ringgit. Malaysia's exports valued at 1.24 trillion ringgit last year, up 26% from 983.8 billion ringgit in 2020. Pulau Pinang remained the top exporter with a share of 29.3%, contributed by strong exports of electronic integrated circuits. Additionally, imports also recorded an increase of 23.3% to 987.2 billion ringgit in 2021 as against 800 billion in the previous year. Mark Ratings has affirmed its local currency sovereign rating of AAA on Malaysia, based on its national sovereign rating scale. Under this rating scale, the sovereign state of Malaysia carries the lowest relative risk for reasons that include its authority to tax and set interest rates. The rating reflects the country's credit strengths, including a competitive and well-diversified economy that has kept growth relatively resilient and stable. For this year, the firm expects real GDP growth to rebound further to 5.7%. Meanwhile, Malaysia's position in the 2021 edition of the Institute for Management Development World Competitiveness Rankings improved to number 25 from number 27 previously. The Finance Ministry is looking to table the Fiscal Responsibility Bill at the next Parliament session, scheduled to begin on July 18th. Finance Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz said the bill includes efforts to broaden the country's tax base,
including taxing the shadow economy and improve tax compliance and administration towards helping boost tax collection. This is crucial to replenish the nation's coffers to support our developmental and longer-term reform agenda. So back to MIA, your members are important.
On the efforts to support the nation's environmental, social and governance ESG, the government will strengthen sustainability-related financing. It complements the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by coordinating initiatives and programs via the annual budgets. The government also develops the capacity of SME as one of the key building blocks to achieve Malaysia's ESG aspirations and net zero carbon goal by 2050. The reopening of borders and the onset of the economic recovery are setting a conducive environment for capital raising, with plenty of liquidity looking for assets to invest in the country. The improving backdrop is paving the way for companies to build up their sustainability agenda and to position their own net zero objectives.
And this is where our dedicated team comes in to support structuring and advisory, looking at sustainable type issuances of financing. And I think where we are seeing a lot of attraction is clearly projects which are actually falling within the category of sustainable type projects.
He added that investors' appetite for sustainable investments are very strong globally, particularly in emerging markets with relatively weak supply. This is as seen by the small share of green, social and sustainability bonds, which is less than 5% of the entire ASEAN bond market. Sustainability-linked issuances made up 7.6% of Malaysia's total issuances last year. RAM Ratings has projected full-year loan growth at 4.5 to 5% this year, despite rising interest rates driven by the gradual reopening of the economy. The rating agency said banks' core earnings before tax would see some upside this year, underpinned by more moderate impairment charges and further net interest margin expansion. However, bottom lines would be weighed down by the one-off prosperity tax. Meanwhile, slower global economic growth amid the Russia-Ukraine war, the impact of higher inflationary pressures on consumption spending and protracted labour shortages will continue to pose downside risks. The firm observed a better showing in the banking industry's profitability in the first quarter of 2022. That's all the time we have for Bizworld. I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for investing your time with us.